What's up, guys? Welcome back to the DLB Daily. It is our favorite day of the week, and I have such a good workout for you. I have some newer exercises, things that you might have seen before. I didn't even tell you what we're training. We're training shoulders. But I probably gave it away when I said this is our favorite day of the week. So, pumpkin delts today. Let's get to it. I'm starting off with a little bit of a warm-up for you guys. Let's go.
Roll.
All right, so we are starting off. I'm calling this like a little bit of a warm-up. You could technically make it working sets, but we're going to stay pretty light. It's a tri-set on an incline bench. We are going from an incline butterfly raise. So we've done those before. You've seen it. If you've been following DLB Daily, you know that's one of my favorite things to start off with. So we're going from a butterfly raise to a Y raise to a reverse fly. And all you need is one set of dumbbells. So whatever you can do, we're starting with the harder exercise first, which is the butterflies. So whatever weight you use for the butterflies, you're just going to keep it for all the other ones. The rep range is 8 to 12, so anywhere from 8 to 12. So you might get 10 for all of them. You might get 8 butterflies, 10 Y raises, and then 12 flies. It doesn't matter. Stay within somewhere of that as long as you get 8. If you're going way higher than 12, then maybe you need to up the weight a little bit. We're just doing 3 sets, going through each exercise. So first exercise is one of my favorites because I was a swimmer myself. So you're laying chest down on the incline bench and you're just going through a butterfly motion. This is really going to warm up our rotator cuffs. It's going to hit pretty much all of your parts of your shoulder. So your rear delts, your medial delts, your anterior delts. So we're going from a fly motion. So you come back, you're going to come up and around and then back down. When I come back, I'm leading with my pinky, very similar to like how you would actually perform the butterfly stroke in swimming. You lead with your pinky out and around and then come down and then you kind of pull through. The pull through isn't really there because we don't have water there, but we're going to mimic the same exact movement of the butterfly. So start really, really light. These are just 5 pounds. So coming back, leading with our pinky, up and around, and then down. So rear delts, medial delts, front delts. Rear delt, medial delt, front delt. A lot of times when I get to the front, I like to just, instead of pulling this way, I turn them in and go into a neutral because then I'm already in that position to bring my pinky out. So pinky out and around. So we'll go anywhere from 8 to 12 here, and then you're going to go right into a Y raise. So Y raise, you're just making a Y with your arms. So this actually targets, it's right in between a front raise and a lateral raise. So you're going to get a little front action and you're going to get a little lateral head action. So staying on that bench and you're just making a Y with your arms. Maybe even hold for a second at the top. And I feel it the most in that lateral head because right here would be like a lateral raise. So we're like right in between. So you have front raise, Y raise, lateral raise. You could do all of them if you wanted to, but we're going to stay right here in that Y raise. So 8 to 12 here, and then keeping with these weights, we're going to go right into a reverse fly. And I like to lead with my pinkies on this one. But again, this is something that I always tell you, like, try it out. Like, if you like to keep your hands in that neutral grip position, do it that way. Sometimes I do like a combination of all of them. So this would be keeping my palms facing. This would be a little pinky flare. And then by that time, you're kind of already pumped. So we're doing 3 sets of the tri-set, butterfly to Y to reverse, 8 to 12. And you should be warm by then, and then we'll get into some heavier stuff. All right, now that I'm actually like super pumped after that. I ended up and I did 4 sets. So feel free, because it feels so good, to do an extra set. So now we're gonna move on to some pressing. Now we have done some landmine pressing before, but we're gonna switch the angle of our body, and we are going to do a landmine Y press. If you don't have, I'm using a T-bar. So if your gym has one of those like little contraptions where you just like place the bar in it and it can move, usually you can just get it and you can do this from like a standing position. But I will have to kneel because I'm using a T-bar instead. If you have none of those options, you can also do this with just a dumbbell. I just like this because you can really just concentrate. You can go a little bit heavier with a dumbbell. Makes it a little harder because you have to like actually really stabilize that in that Y position. So we've done them this way, where you're pushing in front. It's generally like a neutral grip shoulder press. We're now going to be pushing out to the side because generally I like to like change things up as much as I can. So on a typical shoulder day, most people are like, cool, presses, lateral raises, rear delt flies. So I like to try to change up different angles so that you're hitting muscles a little bit differently. So we're gonna be here at our T-bar or landmine or barbell. You're gonna get this up to your shoulder, and your shoulder, it's gonna start from your shoulder, and you're gonna be pressing outwards. So it's just a completely different, I feel like you get a little bit more medial to lateral head in this from that angle, and it's just completely different motion. I want to be down here a little bit more, and then so as you press, you're still getting that front delt, but because it's going out, and do it from this way, because it's not going straight up and straight down, which is all front delt. Now that we're going out, we're now going to incorporate that medial head. So it's just changing that plane of motion instead of going here, which is all front, to here, which involves our medial head. And if you have been following me for so long, you know that our biggest focus on shoulder day is definitely not front delts. Most people, when you look at them from the side, their front delt is way more prominent. So like, I'm still more prominent front delt because I have such a heavy chest day. To get that cap look, you need to get big rear delts and medial delts. So if I can change it and add a little bit more medial delt on my shoulder press, heck yeah. So we're gonna go, the rep range is gonna start at 10. So we're gonna go 10 to 8 to 6 to 6. So as the reps go down, the weight goes up. So these are gonna go pretty heavy. Like when you're only doing 6 reps of something, I want you going pretty heavy. So we'll go up from here, pressing out, all the way down to your shoulder, front delt, and then to medial delt. So right out to the side. From there, I like to just do one arm at a time, but feel free to do both sides and then go to the next exercise. A lot of times I like to just stay on that one side because it kind of like pre-exhausts. But then no matter how you do it, the next one we are going to do is landmine bent over. Now these can be called Meadow rows. If you know my boy John Meadows, he's the guy that pretty much developed this. We want these Meadow rows a little bit more for rear delts. So we're keeping that elbow completely out to the side. So instead of like coming back here more, which would be more back, This is gonna be like a high, wide row. Very similar to like a pen lay row when your hands are out nice and wide, elbows are super wide. So you're gonna stand perpendicular, right? That would be perpendicular, that would be parallel. Perpendicular for your John Meadow rows. You can stagger your feet can be together, however you feel the best. Right now it's pretty light, so I don't need to like stagger. You're gonna keep that bent position, and then elbow stays wide, and then you're pulling back as high as you can. If you need to, I might need to take like a little slight step up. You can just stand on a plate to keep you a little bit higher if you're bottoming out before like your arm comes all the way down. So to hit our rear delts, a great way to do it, like flies are great, but anytime you can try to get your elbow back behind your body, that is what is gonna call in on that rear delt. So flies, these are fine, they're hitting it, but you can tell that just from doing this to this, I feel more contraction in that way. So that's why a lot of times on back day, I throw rear delts in, and on shoulder day. The more the merrier. So we're going 10, 8, 6, 6 for the presses each side, and then 10 to 12 for your wide meadow rows. Let's go. Moving on to laterals. And I was just telling him, I never just do one set of laterals. So we are going to be doing incline W raise, which is basically if you had, I think Cybex makes it, well, a lot of like machines, like a machine lateral. We're gonna basically kind of do the same thing, but you're gonna be on an incline and you're gonna be doing it with dumbbells. So what that will look like, or should I explain the whole set? We'll explain the whole set and then we'll go through each one. So we're doing incline W laterals facing for huge isolation on your medial head. Then you're going to reverse, and then with the same dumbbell, just a nice seated, strict, out to the side lateral. Bum, 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 bum. If you want to do the little pinky up, feel free. If you like there's so many different ways to do laterals. You can keep them flat, you could do pinky up, you could do thumb up, whatever you choose. We're just doing strict laterals. And then I grab my trusty rubber band because it's so nice to just like add some partial reps at the end to failure. You'll put that under your feet and then partial reps so you can't go any mo. That's the name of the game. So back to some W's. So I'm gonna start pretty light. You're gonna lay chest down on incline bench. And then I keep my elbows generally at like a 90 degree. So as you come up, you're in that 90 degree, and then you come down, you're in that 90 degree. So you basically are making a W with your arms. So here's YMCA W. So that's what your arms should look like when you bring them up. Thanks, multitasker here. So elbows at 90, and then you're just raising them up. Leading with your elbows, not the weights, because otherwise you'll come back like that. Not a bad thing, but it's just not what we're doing. So lead with your elbows, and you'll feel a really, really, really good contraction right in your lateral head. We'll do 10 to 12 there. Flip around. And you shouldn't have to drop weight. This should be a little bit easier. That's going to be the harder exercise. We're starting with the harder exercise, going to the easier one, and then we're just doing seated strict lateral raises. Again, you shouldn't have to drop the weight. We'll do 10 to 12 there. Then you go directly to your rubber band. Throw that under your feet. And then you're just doing partials, top partials instead of like bottom partials. You want to try to keep it at the top, just small movements. And that one is till failure, basically until you just have to drop the rubber band. So W raise into seated, strict lateral raise into rubber band partials. 4 sets, anywhere from 10 to 12, 10 to 12, hopefully 10 to 12, but go to failure. So if you can get 20, go to 20. It's hot in here, guys. It's hot. Jesus, turn the heat down. Ah! All right. Next set is a biggin. So we're going back to our front delts. And we're going from a standing strict shoulder press. Then you're doing like a mechanical, it's called like a mechanical drop set. Because you're not going to actually drop the weight. You're going to just change the way you're doing it so that you can get more reps, not weps. Reps. So standing strict shoulder press, and then you're going to go right into a push press. So a push press, you're adding your legs into it. Strict press, you're trying to stay pretty straight for the most part. You'll have a slight bend in your knee. Push press, you're actually going to bend your knees and push the weight up. So you're adding your legs, so you'll be able to get a couple more reps than you normally would not be able to do because you're just freaking maxed out. Then you're going to either grab a plate or a dumbbell, and we're going to do straight out in front of you figure 8. So the 8's not going to go this way. The 8's going to go, it's like is that the infinity sign? Is that infinity? Right? Is infinity this way?
Yeah.
All right, we're doing
sideways 8.
Sideways infinity 8. 8s. That's what I was like, front raise infinities, right? That's the infinity sign. So you're just gonna hold the plate or the dumbbell, and you're just gonna draw an 8. Bum, 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 bum. So each time you go to the middle, 1, 2, we're gonna count that way. So 10 to 12 reps for that. And then when you cannot go anymore, so if you do a couple more, that's fine. We're gonna go right into like a jammer press. So whatever, if you're using the plate and we're doing our figure 8s this way, we'll just go right into a jammer press, which is like a close grip, neutral shoulder press. Just to finish it out, you know, just to finish it out. So for our strict press, you're going a little bit heavier. The rep range for that, I don't remember what I wrote. I should write these things down. 8 to 10. 8. I feel like 8 to 10 is a lot. We're gonna go 6 to 8. I want you to go heavy. So 6 to 8 strict press. The one thing that I do with a strict press, I'm gonna show you with lighter weight. I start with my elbows forward instead of like flaring them out to the side. Not that this is bad, but if you have any kind of like shoulder issues, I always tell you tucking your elbows in is just going to be a little bit safer. It just keeps them a little bit more confined. So I start here, and then when I come up, I turn. Sort of like an Arnold, but not really. So here and up. So your strict shoulder press. And then after you get 6 to 8 and you feel like you can't get any more, we're now going to add our legs in. So add your legs in. When you get to the bottom, you should already kind of be like getting into your little squat, and then straighten your legs out, and the weights will just go right up. And then you'll do another like 5 to 6 there. Then, so this would be what it would look like with a dumbbell. Same thing, wrap your hands around and a figure 8. We'll go 10 to 12 here. And then right into a jammer. Boom, boom, boom. It's a big set. It's a big set. So we're going pretty heavy on these strict presses. Who's calling me? Cleveland, Tennessee? I don't think so. Not answering some weird number. Are you kidding me? So, I lie. We're not going to 6 to 8. We're going 5 to 6 for strict press. So, strict press, 5 to 6. Add your legs in for the push press. Another 5 to 6. Pow, pow, pow. And then we're going to go figure 8. You can do this with a plate or with a dumbbell. Figure 8 or infinite. I keep calling it figure 8. It's an infinity sign. We're going infinity. You can do infinite amounts with this. And then when you can't go anymore, go right into a jammer press. 4 sets. And then we're not even done yet. We've got so much left. So this is an exercise we haven't done in a very, very long time. When we did it, I called it the delt row because it's a row for your delts, for your rear delts. So basically what it is, it's a high row with an external rotation. So anytime you're rowing back, anytime this elbow breaks that plane, you're going to be hitting that rear delt. So that's why we do a lot of these like rowing motions, which I think so many people forget. They're so caught up in just doing like reverse flies, reverse flies, reverse flies. But so much of your back day can be rear delts. And then by adding this little external rotation is just going to add a little extra oomph on those rear delts. I always feel like you can see it better. So this is like if we were doing a row regular, or here, we'll do it this side. I feel like that would be better. Row regular. Like I'm contracting it, like I feel it, but I feel like it's more like a little bit more back. So then we're gonna externally rotate, and like there should be a difference in contraction. I can't actually see. Is there a difference? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank goodness. Because it's the same thing we talk about when we do face pulls. You know, face pulls are my absolute like favorite exercise in the world. We're taking a break from them because I literally put them in every shoulder day possible. So I'm trying to give you something new, something that I forgot about, and something that can also equally hit those rear delts just as good. So we're going to be doing it on an incline bench. You don't have to use an incline bench. You could just be standing like a bent over, like kind of like a bent over row, but we're going to keep our elbow nice and high instead of tucking it back. Because when you tuck it back, that's going to be hitting our lats. So we want to keep that elbow really, really wide, just like we were doing it on the landmine. We want to keep our elbow wide, and as we come up, your palm should be facing out. So we're going to externally rotate that shoulder. A lot of those rotations, so that's a lot of times why I do those rotations in my presses. Anytime you're getting that little rotation, it's just going to add to the movement instead of like staying in the same plane. So externally rotate is going to add a little extra contraction on that rear delt. I'm going to be doing one arm at a time, and believe it or not, it's not even set with anything. We're doing it by itself. So rep range is about 8 to 10. So I want these a little bit heavier, and you can rip through these pretty fast because we're not setting it with anything. So set your bench to like a 30-degree incline. Your arm can hang down, and then as you pull up, elbow's going to stay wide, and then externally rotate. So just make sure as you pull up, palm is going to face out, elbow is out. So then you'll do 8 to 10 on this side, 8 to 10 on the opposite side. Take a small break and hit them again, 4 sets. No big deal. And then we got one more thing. One more thing, and then we're done, I promise. All right. We come to the finale. It's not even that great of a finale, but we got a little isolation work for our medial and posterior. So we're coming to the cable. I always love doing cables because it gives you that constant tension all the way through the movement, just like resistance bands kind of do the same kind of thing. That's why I do always I do a lot of cable work, generally with most of my exercise, back day, shoulder day, chest day. I just love cables. So we're gonna go 3 sets, 10 to 12, maybe more, 10 to 12 of each. So you'll start off with your lateral raises. When I do laterals, I like to go right in between my legs. So whatever arm whatever arm is going to be working, it's farthest from the cable. So face away from the cable. That leg will be in front, other leg behind. The reason I do it in between, it keeps it super duper strict right out to the side. If you would rather do it behind your back, that's fine. Or in front, also fine. But I'm doing it strict right out to the side. And I'm going to even add a slight lean to it. With the lean, you'll get a little bit more range of motion, so you'll be able to go a little bit higher. So start with it out. Again, anytime you're doing something with cables, when the plates hit, that means you have lost complete tension. So to start, you always have the plates not touching. So I can already feel tension on my shoulder as is. So simple lateral raise, strict out to the side, come up, hold for a second, and then I want you concentrating on more of the negative for this one. So this time, so up fast, so like a 1 second up, hold for a second, maybe a 2 count down, and then up fast, hold for a second, slow on the way down. So whether that's like a 2 to 3 second count, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3, so that's like 2.5. So we'll do 10 to 12 on this side, 10 to 12 on the opposite side. So you'll just flip around. Oh, wait, is that right? Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter which leg's in front. I think I had it opposite. I think I like this leg in front. Maybe that's just how I stand. I'll have to redo that and see which leg I put in front. Put whatever leg you want in front. Lean out to the side. Get the plates up off. Up fast. Down slow. 1, 2, down. Good. Then we're going to move it up. And you just need it like just above your shoulders. But for this one, I'm not going to use the handle because otherwise I'm going to have to stand really far back. So if your cable has this little ball on it, I'm going to put my hand through this. Unless you just want to take it off, you could also just take it off. It's not, took 2 seconds, not even. So I'm going to just grab it by the ball. That's what she said. And we're gonna do a straight arm, like pull through. I call them skiers. So if you've ever saw like dumbbell skiers, because it kind of replicates like what a skier would look like. So if I was a skier going down the mountain, my ski poles are here, and as you go, you throw your arms backwards. So I'm gonna write skiers or single arm cable pull, but it's a straight arm cable pull. Similar, but different from a straight arm like pull down like you would for back day. The biggest difference here on back day, if I was working lats, I'm trying to stay closer to my side. We're gonna be at like a 45-degree angle. So when I come down, I'm gonna be at an angle of 45 degrees away from my body, and I wanna pull my arm back as far as I can, because anytime you hyperextend that arm back behind you, you're calling on your rear delts. So here it's rear delts, but you're not gonna feel it until you're all the way back here. So we wanna break that plane, so that's how we're gonna break it. So I'm gonna grab it by, I wish there was some other way to say, grab it by the ball. And then you're just straight arm. I always keep a slight bend. Don't lock out your elbow. You'll have a slight bend in your elbow, but it doesn't move. And then you're just coming away from your body. Do a little stagger stance. If you have long arms, you might be able to hold on to that, but I do not have long arms. And you're just pulling all the way back behind your body. Again, on this one, we're gonna focus really slow on the negative. You can go down fast, hold for a second. 1, 2, 3, up. Hold for a second. 1, 2, 3, up. So notice my arm's not coming close to my body. You're staying at that like little diagonal. Keep a slight bend in your elbow, and then pull that arm all the way back behind you as far as you can. Skiers, aka straight arm pull through. I don't know what to call it. Comment below what the heck to call that thing. I like skiers, it makes sense. So 3 sets, 10 to 12, each side and each exercise. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully that helps you for when you get to the gym. So make sure you watch this and then get to the gym. So see you guys next time on the DLB Daily.